guys, and happy weekends and happy Sunday. So today we are doing our tarot outlook for the week of December 2nd to December 8th. And first we start with the hair talk. There is not that much to talk about. I did darken my hair. Right, so I've had this massive obsession with Olaplex lately, and then I saw that they have a black color, so I was like, I need to do that. It kind of makes me a little bit sad because it did kind of cover my grays, but other than that, I'm kind of digging it. This week we've had a lot of little rain and a little bit of wintry mix, so I did straighten it. There is something that happens that when I straighten my hair, after I straighten it and deep condition it, the curls pop back up. I don't know if you guys know anything about this, but if you do, feel free to explain this to me in the comments. Now, the products that I'm using right now, it's absolutely nothing. I use the leave-in from Olaplex and I use the oil from Olaplex, and then I just sleep with it in a bun, and then it just kind of twists and does its thing. I use the Rev Air, I believe it's called the Rev Air blow dryer, which is that vacuum blow dryer, and then I use the Baby Bliss hair iron. I think I got all this stuff correct just on the first day, and then after that I washed it. I think it was Monday. And today we are already in the weekend, so yes, I know I need to wash it. Now today we are using the Morgan Greer Tarot. Now this is the 1979 edition, and it is an older edition, but it is the one that I love. Now I do believe they have two different types of decks. They have a newer version, which I do have somewhere back there, but this is the one that really speaks to me. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the energy for December 2nd to December 8th. Now we know that Jupiter will be dominating the first week of December because it will be moving into a new sign. So we will all be a little bit more sensitive next week because we're dealing with opposing forces. So basically next week, for the crystals that you have with you, I would definitely suggest a little satchel, once again with black tourmaline, right, to block out those negative vibes. We want a little bit of a selenite. We want fluorite. If you have a hard time focusing, you definitely want a little fluorite, a little citrine for a little bit of joy, and then a little tiny piece of quartz just to enhance the energy of these other crystals. And that's been my satchel for, I think I've been using the same satchel with the same things crystals that I just mentioned for the last month and a half. And it's doing really well. Remember that you could charge them at any time under the sunlight, or with your moon cycles. You don't always have to wait until the full moon to charge your crystals. You could sage them, you could run them underwater just for a minute or so, and you could just set intention whenever you feel your crystals need a little bit of a recharge, just like our phones do. So let's go ahead and begin. So we begin with the Six of Swords next week. Now, when we see the Six of Swords, this is about making sure that if you're ready to leave something, that you are really ready to leave it. This is something that says, before I leave it, before I quit, before I say I'm done, I'm going to make sure that this is exactly what I want. I definitely don't want to act out on emotion. I don't want to act out on what I'm feeling. Or you guys know that sometimes we'll get mad and it'll take over and then we'll regret it later. So be very careful when acting out on emotion this coming week, because like I said, with Jupiter kind of taking over, we're going to be extra sensitive, right? So now Jupiter in Hinduism astrology, they call him the guru for a reason, because he has tough lessons, but that's where we get our wisdom for. So starting off the week, we see this energy that you are ready to embark on something. You are ready to begin a new beginning, but before you get there, you have to cleanse the way. You have to know, what am I taking with me and what am I not, right? And whatever you're not taking with you, make sure you cut those ties because you're ready. Don't just say I'm done and then you know what I mean, because eventually it'll pop back up and we don't want to deal with that. Now the next one that we see is the Two of Pentacles. So obviously we see here we need to have a lot of balance, right? Especially when we're ready to set off on a new adventure. We need to bring in balance for that as well. So if I'm working really hard, I need to make sure I'm taking breaks in between. Now, this is not about, work. This is, yes, slay your dreams, work for your dreams, work for your goals, right? But make sure you're taking moments in between. If I'm working hard, then I should also have time for me. I should also have time to recharge myself, because what happens when we don't do this, we start getting extremely overwhelmed. Now, the next one that we have is the Queen of Rods. Now, the Queen of Rods is full of light. She's full of that solar energy. I love the Queen of Rods because she is that queen that she's a nurturer, but she's also a badass, all right? So when the Queen of Rods comes out, to be very careful, especially with these cards before, with manipulation. If you're getting a red flag about someone, or if the energy is shifting, you definitely want to trust that. A lot of times when this happens, it's not easy, right? Because it may happen to someone that's kind of close to you. Now, this doesn't mean doomsday. It just means maybe they're going through something. Maybe the energy between you and them are shifting, right? So instead of going into denial, you definitely want to acknowledge any red flags that you get. Make sure that you really pay attention to them, and just make sure that you observe. Like we see here, we don't want to react on emotion next week, so we don't want to jump to it and be like, what's happening? You know, we just kind of want to just sit back and observe while still honoring our gut feeling. Now, the next one that we see is the Seven of Rods. So the Seven of Rods says, make sure that if you are working your butt off next week, that you also have a say on how things are done. Make sure that you are not laying down and letting people step all over you, because this is definitely not the energy that you want to go for. You definitely can be of service. You definitely can be of help. The thing is that you definitely you cannot bend over anymore. What's happening is that you say yes, 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 yes. A lot of people see it as, oh, they'll do it, they'll do it, they'll do it. And you know what I mean? You end up with all these responsibilities on top of you, things that you maybe did not want to do. And now you've said yes to so many people that you were completely overwhelmed. Remember, we're entering December, which is a holiday season for a lot of people. Not only that, but we have our wheel turning. We have winter solstice coming, right? So even though we feel like we're on the go, the earth is resting now. So we have this shift. We have this pull. Half of me wants to be on the go, and half of me wants to be hiding underneath the couch. So for next week, you definitely want to make sure that you're keeping yourself balanced, that you're breaking ties with things that you're ready for, but that you do not act out on emotion. Now, we're going to do one more thing, right? And we are just going to choose a card for the week. You know how I do the cards of the day on Instagram and Facebook, and if you don't, go follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Same handle. It's Light Witch Tarot Shop, right? And every day there, I do a card pull for the community. So I use the community energy, and I just ask the cards, what do we all need to know? What is the main energy? So let's go ahead and take a look at what is the main energy for the week of December 2nd to December 8th. And we're using the Goddess Oracle for this one. Look at that. So we have Oya, right? And the energy of Oya for next week is changed. So this is actually very interesting, because when we look at the cards, we do see changes. You are ready for those changes. You just got to kind of go around and weed out the things that you don't want to take with you, but you want to avoid acting on emotions. With these changes coming ahead, we got to stay balanced, because what happens is that when we're ready for change, but we lose our balance because we're running around all over the place, we cannot think clearly. So we lose our focus. Therefore, we just kind of sit there and we become overwhelmed. Whether it's good or bad change, we become overwhelmed. We don't want to do that, right? So seeing the change energy, I love this, because I've been saying this a lot, and you guys know that I sound repetitive, but I have this, you know, this feeling that we are all in for a major change, a consciousness shift, especially for those people in the 4D, especially those people that are healers, that are gifted. I don't know, I would love to hear your thoughts about this. So please, you could send me a message, send me an email, you could write me down there in the comments. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about, because there's a lot of people that have told me, I know exactly what you mean. We are feeling this massive, it's almost like it's cooking. Like, it's going to be a gradual change, but it's almost like you could just feel it, you know? So I'd love to hear what you guys think. Now, of course, this weekend, if you just signed up, if you didn't know, we did send a newsletter, so make sure that you head over to www.lightwitchtarotshop.com. Sign up for the newsletter so you don't miss anything. But we are having the biggest sale of the year, and it ends Monday. So it ends on Monday at 11 p.m. Central Time, and it is the biggest sale. Basically all the crystals, all the candles, everything shop-wide is 33% off, with code REBIRTH, right? And readings are 15% off using code SPIRITS, and workshops, including the paranormal workshop, which you guys love, which we brought it back this year. And that one is called Hierophant. There goes my accent. Ooh. It's code Hierophant, and you save 30% of all workshops, and you do always get, as usual, free crystals and a free incense with your order. So if you guys have been thinking about getting that reading done, just schedule a reading with me. All of my readings are just like this. We're face to face. And then except I just move the camera up below so you guys can see your cards getting shuffled and how they come laid out. And right now I do still have a few openings left for February. I know that's a long wait, and I always say this, but it is worth it. I've been doing this for about 2 decades. So there is a little bit of a wait, but it so happens that my clients will tell you that their readings fall exactly on the day that they need it. So that's pretty magical as well. But once again, I would love, love, love to hear you guys' thoughts about this consciousness change. There's this shift going on. And I know I'm not crazy because I work with hundreds of people. And everybody, anytime I mention this in a workshop or in a class or in the tribe, a lot of people are like, yep, I feel it, right? So I'd love to hear your 2 cents on that. So I will see you again next weekend. If you guys want any little classes for me to post on YouTube, I know I've had hundreds of you asking me to do. Feel free to leave me a comment below too on what topics you want to talk about. Make sure that you check out the shop. That there's many workshops you guys can sign up. And if you are looking for something smaller, you can always sign up for the tribe, where I go there once a week. I do card pulls, we do our little classes, and we do giveaways, and you guys always have a discount. So if you are wanting to check out the tribe, head over to lightwitchtarotshop.com and type on the search bar LWT tribe. So I will see you now for real once again next weekend. Lots of love and light to you beautiful people, and blessed be. Bye-bye.